Yeah.
Yeah, that question is definitely very relevant to what we've been going through lately, which is going independent.
Yeah, you're sitting in a studio that we slaved for years to be able to build, and we haven't had any $4 million contracts on us. We've had the people say, like, here's some money.
Right.
And through no fault of their own, it wasn't for us. And the reason is not because we don't want money, and ultimately money makes everything easier and greases the wheels.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you lose sight of why you started doing it. And I think it goes back to what we were talking about outcome-based art. And when people start throwing money at you, and you start hearing these voices of people that tend to wear ties, they're saying, like, well, we want this to happen. The next thing is this. Mm-hmm. We want this many people at your concerts, or, what are your goals? I had one producer, first thing he said to me was like, so how many people do you want to sell? Like, do you want to sell at arenas? Or you like, and I was like, what? Who cares right now? Like, we're trying to make a song, idiot. And so, like, there's people around this exact neighborhood that's their focus, and that's cool. And they are making most of the money.
Right.
And obviously we want to make money to live, but I think there's a direct correlation with involving too many people that have money and ideas about what's best for you, and the quality of your art and where you start going with your music. Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I just heard your music, and I did some quick research in the background. So I didn't know who you were, what your background, a lot of those stories and stuff. But having you say exactly what you said there tells me exactly why I connected with your music so much. Because really, like, ultimately, this is as independent as it gets, right? Like this, that's all I've ever done is independent stuff. Right. And I think this is just my own personal thing that I've been thinking about lately, is that the more and more I go forward, the more and more I realize it's because I've just always had I don't want to do it for any other reason than I want to fucking do it attitude. Mm-hmm. You guys kind of come from the same spot, right?
Definitely. But I think we've learned that by experiencing the other side of it. I think we thought we want, everyone when they start out, they're like, oh, I want the record deal.
Tell me about your experience there. Because I think that's valuable for other people.
Yeah, I wouldn't say...
Can you talk about stuff? Or?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Talk about anything.
I wouldn't say don't do it. I mean, if you're a band, you get a bunch, like a record contract thrown at you, judge the people throwing it at you. Make sure that they have the same ideas as you and want the same things as you. They never will exactly.
Sure.
And that's not saying that our experience with multiple record labels was awful.
There were parts that were great.
And I think we needed to go through that process to realize that we wanted nothing to do with it. And also, it's possible that another record label that I've never heard of comes out of the woodwork and is like, this is our ethos and what we believe about being in the music business. And here's also some money. Not all the money, but some money.
I'm sure they exist.
I
feel it. They exist.
Yeah. But for now, we're kind of like really relishing this opportunity to just go deep into what we're doing and not worry about that stuff.
Well, I was just going to say, because ultimately, like, with you saying I'm sure they exist, it's there's a part of me that heard that as hopeful, but really I think what it was is you've never even considered, like, you didn't think about it up until right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, it's probably out there or whatever.
Yeah. I think that there are so many musicians, not unlike Matt, who are wanting to do their own thing, and they end up starting a record label. And I bet that if people are coming from being in the music industry themselves and they start a record label, I have high hopes that those people later on in their life, when they decide to run their label and maybe sign another artist, I know that you'd do that. If you signed an artist, you would know how the industry works, know how the artists feel, and you'd sign them because you love their music and what they're doing, and you trust their creative, instincts, and there's freedom with the creative process, a relatively low level of pressure, and financial support, because musicians understand, how that works. And you can't, I think the biggest thing about signing to a major label or a larger label is that the pressure, and all the people and their opinions on, well, this single sounds to this, and that gets to a writer's, brain. And it can, I think for Fast Romantics, like that creates so many roadblocks for us. And just this band in general, going the independent route, starting like last year, is important for the, creativity like flowing properly. Lack of pressure, get people's voices out of your head and create something that's authentic.
So since you guys are on this journey, and you probably don't have all of the answers, but maybe you have some perspective on it. There's a freedom obviously that comes with going independent, right? There's nobody to tell you what to do. But that also comes with, like you said, now the gears aren't greased for you. So what are the parts of like that, like the business side of it that you guys are starting to take on that you're kind of learning as you go through this?
I mean, I think just knowing your strengths and knowing what you can do and what you need help with. It's not like when we decided to make our own record label, it's not like we also need no one's help, Right. There's people that we've built a team still, and there's the people that are way better at stuff than we are that we still engage with, and they work with us, But it's more about refocusing your energy and making sure that you don't try to do things that will just occupy too much of your time and energy that other people could do better. But you also don't give away the lifeblood of what you're doing. And that's financially, you can easily give away most of your lifeblood to certain types of organizations and people, but also emotionally and artistically, you can give away a lot to other people. And then you end up sucking anyway, and then no one's going to want you. So it's about balance and understanding what you're good at, what you're not good at, and what you want.